And I think I've had the Legal Shield coverage for about 2. So the other thing as well, the vibrational healing is not a limited company or an incorporated company, but that's also another great way to protect yourself, to make sure that it's a corporate, incorporated company, limited company, LLC, whatever those things that I think in the United States it's an LLC, and we can do limited or incorporated here in Canada. So it's also a really good way to protect your own, what you've created, and to keep it so that nobody else is coming along and taking what you've built and spent all that great time and energy to get up and running.
That is such valuable. Thank you, Permelia.
Permelia Parham, vibrational healing. I am a certified body code and emotion code practitioner. So I help you find and release those trapped emotions or balls of negative energy that could be stuck in your subconscious, so that you'll be as healthy as possible.
Awesome.
I like that. So we have discovered that people out there feel the need to protect themselves.
Well, she only did like 6 years down the line, though.
Yeah, but that's based on experience.
Why did you, was there something that happened, Permelia, that I just have to know, like, did something happen and then you decided to get the Legal Shield, or did you just think like, I think this is something I should do, or I don't know, did you just wake up one morning and you were like, we should do this?
Actually, I was introduced to someone who was selling the product, or I didn't know about it before. And of course, we all think that lawyers are really, really expensive. So it's not something that you would necessarily, knock on a lawyer's door and say, hey, I need you, because that's probably anywhere from $250 to $500 an hour just to have a chat. So it was something that I found out about 2 years ago, and just thought that would, for the price point, I thought that was a really good idea. And I've already been in touch with, I'm just trying to remember why I needed some advice. It wasn't really anything major, but I just, I've already been in touch with the lawyer. I was just, all I had to do was send an email and I got an answer back.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. Thank you. That is very helpful. That is super helpful. I'm just thinking now, I think I got lucky because one of the first people I met on my entrepreneurial journey just happened to be a lawyer.
And she just happened to like you.
Yeah, and the universe is probably saying like, oh my goodness, you're not going to make it, Misty. Like, if we don't give you a little bit of a boost. And I know like your thing is, as long as you have a lawyer in the community, we just take really good care of them.
Yeah.
And then when you pick up the phone, it doesn't always cost like 500 Rand per WhatsApp.
which is just smart.
So that's also a way, maybe, if you hang out in a community that has lawyers in it and you become like family, I mean, that helps a lot. Anyway, let's move on to Marlena. I got your name right again.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I agree with everything that Permelia said. Obviously, we have different bodies in this country, but having a lawyer on tap definitely helps. Mine was more about actually a personal experience that I've recently had, and that was when I collaborated with somebody that I trusted, because I've known them for a long time, because people like that can also rip you off in terms of what you've built. So for me, it's about making sure that your boundaries are very, very clear, and that anything that is communicated is completely communicated in writing, so that there's absolutely no vagaries. And if you feel uncomfortable in any way, that you discuss it before you start anything, rather than thinking it'll go away at some point, because it actually just festers and gets worse. So that's been my own personal experience. Even after all these years, I trusted somebody because I knew them. So that trust factor in business is not always there when you know someone, because business and partnerships or friendships or whatever it may be always has a different element when it comes to competition. And often if people see each other as competition, it can go very wrong. So that's all of my contribution today or this evening. My name is Marlena, and I'm from Self and More Coaching and Self-Development, and I help also with emotional baggage, getting it out the way in a very safe environment, allowing the person to live a fulfilled life going forward. Thank you.
Awesome. I like what was highlighted there. Even within our community, and our community is relationship based. We have a space where people are building relationships, they're getting to know each other. Does not mean you don't have to have your head screwed on your shoulders when you're doing business. Doesn't mean that you can blindly step into doing business because they're part of the same community, or because you can 100% trust them, because you always have to have your wits in business. Relationships are just there to make business easier. It doesn't mean you have to be blind to the business you're doing. So I really actually do appreciate that thought process. People have to be wise about who they're doing business with, why they're doing business with them, and is it beneficial to both, not just to one.
It also helps to, like, if you have like an attorney that you know and like and trust and have around, like, just take her with you to every single business meeting that you have. That helps a lot, because they're like so quick. They can point out like, but what if this happens, or what are you guys going? And that's when everything's still on friendly terms, right? So then everything gets like built right from the start, and it's just so much easier. Yeah. Thank you so much, Marlena. That was gold. I love it. You have to one day teach me how to set a boundary. Like on my bucket list.
She doesn't have any.
Stephen, or you would know. Stephen, let's go to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take it from a bit of a different angle. And I was hoping, and then I'm dying to hear what Nicoline's input. I was hoping she'd put up her hand after Pete said to use the big stick. Then I wanted to hear what the legal side was. But yeah, I think, as I understood your question is, how do we protect ourselves in what we're doing? And it's a very good question. And I'll look at it from what we do. So I coach leaders. Now, there's a million people coaching leaders, and I didn't come up with I didn't reinvent the wheel. We all probably talk about the same thing in a different narrative. So for me, I think it's, and Marlena touched on it, is about competition. And the one thing that worked for me was when I made the mental decision to not see someone else as competition and just collaborate with people. And, like you said, if you first build up the trust, but that doesn't guarantee anything, because I know people that have, I know some people that have copied what I do, and that's okay, because we're all unique in our own ways. So even if I give Marlena my blueprint, she won't coach it like I do. The uniqueness in your business is you. So we can both have the same blueprint. Some people will go with Marlena, some people will go with me, some people won't, and so on. And so I think we need to step into ourselves and really just be confident in what we're coaching around, and make sure that we can get the best outcomes for the people that we're coaching, or the people that we're offering our services to, if you're not coaching, because there are not any coaches in this community or in the tribe. And not worry too much about the protection of what we do, because it doesn't belong to me. The way I've structured it, the way I do it, yes, that belongs to me, but I didn't invent it. So I just go with confidence. And what informs you in the way you offer your services is probably your own journey and your experiences of your own journey. And nobody else has traveled that except you. So I think in that, it's taking comfort in protecting, you kind of are protecting yourself if you show up as yourself. But I'd love to hear, that's just from that angle. I'd love to hear, and that's Stephen from Dare to Be Coaching Beyond. And I work with leaders who want to be more confident, be more courageous, and to get the self-respect from their teams that they're trying to build. So that's what they need to do. And I'm dying to hear, from the legal point of view, I think there is, and I look forward to listening to what Nicoline's got her input. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Levy. I mean, from our side as well, I think you've been one of the main bodyguards of Explore ProTech, because you do that thing where you teach people how to build the culture into the business.
Mm.
And culture is something you can't copy. Am I right, Mr. Levy? Yay! So I don't know how to set a boundary, but I do understand culture.
Yes, 100%. It's one thing nobody can copy from you.
Awesome.
I think that's been our saving grace, where
Yeah.
understanding our culture has led us to understanding what our T's and C's need to be, so that we can then protect that culture. But in regards to setting up those T's and C's, we were clueless.
As we still remain to
And we
this
remain
day.
to be too.
Which is like, more lawyers in the community, please. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Levy. That was amazing. Ooh, next up, this is gonna be good. Let's hear from the Oprah Winfrey of scam prevention, Darlene.
I'm looking forward to hearing what Nicolene has to say as well. And as far as the culture for Explore ProTech, I always view it as coffee first, business later. That's number one for me as well. And then what people do to protect what Pramila said, for sure, you know, like I mean, I wish that all countries had a legal shield. I mean, they help you with writing contracts. They help you with, you know, if you have any questions, you know, is such and such legal in your business? And so that's something that's really important, and protecting your computer. So I know that protecting your computer all over the world is something that's really necessary, and having the proper software and antiviruses, malware, ransomware, having the VPNs when you're out and about, and not letting anybody use your laptop or computer. Don't let your child, spouse, friend come along and say, you know what, I'm in a real hurry. I'm on the way out the door. You have your computer on. I just need to stick this USB into your computer because I have to have this printed, the assignments to do, and I got to go. Too bad, so sad for them. Their emergency is not your risk of having your computer full of antiviruses and all of your information, not just your information, but your client's information stolen as well. Also, insurance, definitely people should have insurance with their businesses, for their clients, because you never know, you know, like if you give just a little tiny piece, like so I'm careful. I try to be careful. I mean, I don't say that I eliminate all risk of being scammed. I always say that I decrease your risk, because if you follow what it is that you're supposed to, because it's human error, and I have no control over what people's human error is. And also, I think reading the book, Think and Grow Rich, is something that's going to be very helpful in people protecting their businesses, because like Stephen said, it's not a competition. Your business is not a competition. Work with your frenemies, know what they're doing. How can you work together? Because, you know, you don't do the same thing, and you learn from each other. So by being competitive, you're not learning, and you're not opening your heart, your eyes, your ears, anything, you know, for learning and for growing. Networking, absolutely, networking is going to be something that's going to help protect your business, because people are going to know, even if they're not even in your own business, they're going to know something about your business. They're going to ask questions that are going to be making you think, oh yeah, I never thought of that. So really networking. And then always know what your bottom line is in your business and in regards to financial. Don't just live day by day. You know, that TV looks like something that I could really do good presentations on. So, you know, like really know what your needs are. I'm not saying you have to skimp out on stuff, but really know what your needs are and what you can afford, and follow your gut. That's always, that's across the board. Always follow your gut. I cannot find the study. I have been looking for months now. I read a study where it said that your intuition, your gut, is 80% of the time right. So always follow your gut. And this is a quote, and I can't remember from who, but think a little smarter, be proactive and not reactive. I'm Darlene Petrie from Scam Prevention International, and we provide education to increase your awareness, to decrease your risk of financial crime, so you don't lose your life savings and, in some cases, your life. Thank you, Stephen, for that. I have to say, Stephen and I had an awesome meeting.
Oh, Darlene, where have you been all my life? That was amazing. Thank you so much. Really, really, really good tips. And I love that you also brought up the cash flow thing.
Well, I like that you brought up the protect your clients thing. I think that there, especially in this day and age, we live in this day and age. It's been this day and age for a while. But we're living in a space where information is readily available and information is shared, and it's put out there. And every single one of us get those messages that are those marketing messages where somewhere along the line they've gotten hold of our phone number, or somewhere along the line you filled in a form, or somewhere along the line, and now you're being marketed to, and that's all information, and it's all just out there. So protect your business by protecting your clients' information.
Yeah, that's a big deal right now.
That's a big deal right now.
I'm sure Nicolene's gonna confirm that as well. But yeah, and then I think, like, again, like the community thing, because I mean, I'm just thinking that I would have known about most of the stuff. I think I'm not sure, like, if I was still like doing business by myself, but like seeing it in practice like this, it's like so priceless, and you get so much reassurance when you're talking to other entrepreneurs just like this. And it's like, what are you doing? You know, what are you worried about? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so Darlene says protect information. Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, so Stephen says build the culture. Okay, yeah, we're doing that. And if it's like, oh no, we're not doing that, I'm like, Stephen, booking a coffee, thank you. I mean, guys, this is amazing. Oh, thank you for building it, Peter. Okay, let's go to Nicoline next. Nicoline, you are my treat for today. Cherry on top. Give it everything you got.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this short because I can really say a lot about all of this. But I think if we just take a step back, right? It starts with that first discussion that we have. Commonly, as lawyers, we speak about negotiation. And if we think about it, we're negotiating every single minute of every single day, whether it be a phone call to a colleague or to a potential person in the network, or whether you go to a shop and you look at your options and you decide, oh, okay, I'm going to have this one. That is actually the most elementary example of a contract, where you look at all your options and you say, oh, I would like this chocolate. And yes, I like the price. I'll pay that for this chocolate. And the exchange happens, and that was a contract at the most entry level of it. So if we take that back to our interactions that we are having, every day we are speaking to potential suppliers. We are speaking to, or maybe recruiting employees, or looking at ways in order to expand, or speaking to our accountants about a decision we are considering to make. All of those are either information collection points, helping us to make a decision, or it is trying to find what we call common ground if we look at the theory around negotiation. And what we forget, I think, and what we sort of fumble in on, is we don't know what we want when we walk into that room. We haven't established, okay, this is my ideal outcome. but I'm willing to compromise on A, B, and C. So you don't walk in with a game plan, so to speak. You walk in and you have a bit of a chat and it goes back and forth. And then sometimes you walk out of the room and you don't even know, so what have I achieved now? Is this been a wasteful meeting or wasteful interaction? And the more we do that, the more we stop thinking strategically about what we are exchanging. And the minute that happens, you're in a very dangerous place. Because when we start just talking, we stop thinking, okay, maybe I've given a really important strategic point away here. We haven't signed an NDA. I'm going on trust here. And oh my word, there's trouble now, or potentially. So I think it starts with having a game plan when we go into the room. Secondly, if you know what you want and what you're willing to compromise, you'll set up the environment to be most conducive to achieving that. Whether it be the culture that you are building internally, whether it be how you set up the room. So most of us don't even think about, when we physically go to a meeting, why on earth are we sitting across from one another? That in most instances, if you read any of the theory around negotiation, is an adversarial position. In other words, we are wanting to fight with one another. We're wanting to throw a punch proverbially over the table. We're not sitting seeking to collaborate, potentially one at the head of the table, one at the side of the table. Our default position is to sit across from one another. Whilst that is not an environment, body language wise, that tells the other person, hey, I want to work with you. We're already setting up that competitive edge in an unhealthy way, in my personal view. Yes, we're doing a lot of meetings virtually, so it may not even be relevant what I've just said in every situation. But have we ever checked, when you get that invite, who is all on that invite? And have you ever checked who that person is and what level of decision-making power they have? Or we're just fobbing into that conversation and then seeing, oh, the CEO is here, or he's not here. The decision maker is not here. So what do I want and what do I aim to achieve with this conversation? So I think it starts with really knowing what you want and what you're willing to compromise. A couple of really good comments. I agree fully. Register your company or whatever it is equivalent to in your jurisdiction. It gives us what we call limited liability. So if something goes very wrong and you have an entity registered, the buck sort of stops at the entity. It doesn't go all the way to your personal assets. Provided, of course, you haven't done anything that you should be ashamed of, okay? There's no ethical boundary that has been crossed, right? So that's a first step. Separate your person from the dealings of the entity. But let's not lose sight, someone else has also said that, that you embody the values that you instill in your entity. So although you are building a shield, so to speak, between you and the creditors, where something goes wrong, don't lose sight of the fact that your uniqueness as the founder, as the entrepreneur, is what makes you you and what makes your business what it is. And someone once told me a couple of years ago, people don't have time to copy you. It's really difficult to actually properly copy someone, right? And of course, we can go down the rabbit hole of IP as we go down it now. But the core principle, if we look at technological advancement, is that are we really creating new things, or are we creating new ways of application with existing things? And that's a very important distinction, because if we can't prove a novel way of doing something, we cannot register an IP right to it. And what is novel and what is new these days, right? We're using APIs and all sorts of tools. So I think it's important, firstly, to register your business, know what you want when you go into any form of discussion. And the third important point, stop seeing contracts as dead wood or documents that just pile up and kill trees. Yes, there are some contracts that will do that if we haven't thought about it. but actually a contract is only as effective as the relationship you aim to manage with it. So yes, templates are good. Templates tick all the right boxes to be compliant, but you also need to put your energy and your stamp into it within how you foresee this relationship ideally should go. And yes, you need to think about a potential divorce clause. That's what we commonly refer to it. If things go pear-shaped, what is the process we are going to follow to unbundle this in a fair way, whilst everyone is still happy and no one is angry and no one wants to go to court? Even if it's just a mechanism to say, if someone wants out, we are going to get an external person to have a conversation with us. We're going to try and sort it out. We'll give it a reasonable time, X amount of days. If that fails, that's step 2. And if that also fails, okay, then some higher power needs to adjudicate this. But that is really important. And from a financial point of view, a lot of this can actually be predetermined, even if it means we'll get someone to do a number crunch. It'll be a person who's impartial to both of us, and we will, provided that person is suitably qualified, will rest by what they decide. And often that's where we fight. We fight over the money, right? And my calculation looks like this and yours looks like that. But maybe it's just better to say from the start, let's get an external person who has no interest in how this goes. They are purely going to look at what we are maybe unable to see because we are upset and we're aggrieved because we've trusted this person. We knew this person. It comes from a familiar environment. And who would have thought that this would happen to me? The last point is really just, I like the legal shield that you referred to. We've got a couple of insurance companies in South Africa that do something similar. But again, I think it's important, if you know what your needs are, to pick a lawyer that is willing to build that relationship with you and get to know your business the way you know it. We always joke internally at our firm to say that engineers learn all that there is to know about all sorts of things because that's their choice. Now, while to be a good lawyer, you need to do the same. So if you represent a doctor who's accused of making an incision wrong on a patient, you need to understand the lingo in order to be that person's mouthpiece and to tell their story. In many ways, that's our purpose, to tell the story. So find someone who is willing to really read your story and feel your story to the degree you feel it. If you pick someone that doesn't want to do that, you need to keep looking. So I'm Nicolene Skuman-Low from Skuman-Low Incorporated in Cape Town. We proudly serve the legal needs of entrepreneurs. And we also have 2 tech products, making your life a little easier to manage some of your contract needs. And we offer retainers starting as low as 695 Rand, where you can get airtime with a real lawyer at our firm, and you can get access to all the resources we have on offer. Thank you, everyone.
Wow.
Okay, so what I got from that was, by protecting ourselves, we protect each other.
What I got from that was take Nicolene everywhere. To every client meeting from now on for the rest of your life. Everyone needs to make friends with Nicolene. Oh, Nicolene, that was so stunning. And can I just tell you how rare it is to actually find lawyers out there that are like, yeah, I want to get to know you. Like, I really want to get to know you in your business. Like, I actually care about you. And to hear someone that is like that passionate about, you know, even like small businesses, it's just like, it makes me feel so good inside. Thank you so much.
And it's actually good to know that that there's a space out there that is specifically designed to look after entrepreneurs.
699 Rand, guys, for the international market is less than our tribe monthly membership. $45. It's nothing. Yeah, that's insane.
That is insane. But at the same time, if we're strategic enough and we build the right relationships, i.e., your lawyer, your business coach, your business buddy, your
Wellness coach.
make sure that the people around you are the ones that are also protecting you. Sometimes decisions are best made with clear heads, and sometimes clear heads prevail when they're just speaking to the right people and making wise choices. So there's protection in numbers.
Definitely.
Mm.
That really excites me because it's like it's getting to that stage now with Explore ProTech where it's like, oh, I need to go for an operation. Don't worry, we have a doctor in the family. Oh, I need to make another business decision. Don't worry, we have a coach in the family. Oh, I need to incorporate another business. Don't worry, we have a lawyer in the family.
Oh, look.
It's
Oh, look.
amazing.
I can grab my roles if we have a fitness instructor in the family.
Amazing, guys. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what are your thoughts on how you protect what you've built?
I'll speak from my area, and my bias is to protect your number one asset, which is that vehicle you wake up in the morning and get out of bed. The computer that's sitting between your ears is another one. Yeah, we do all the work, right? Until we scale and expand and do all that stuff and can hire people to do the things, do all of the things, especially the beginning stage. We got to be as healthy as possible within our realistic situation. And I think that it's like if you can't make clear decisions or you're physically compromised in some way, even if your business is starting to take off and go really well. I notice this a lot with the people I work with, and I've noticed this myself when I was working in gyms and stuff too, is like the consequence to being successful as a solo entrepreneur is burnout. Right? So you need to have a plan in place to be able to handle that. The same thing I do, I think, also can apply in the business conversation, which is not where I'm an expert, which is I could speak from my own mistakes, is building you build a foundation with the body for success, but also build a foundation with your business. So the first person I hired was an accountant, and then a business coach. So, and I still made a bunch of mistakes, but I found that in 2019, I was saying it out loud in my accountability groups and stuff that I want to build a foundation for success and wealth in the future. And the universe took that very seriously and said, you got to clean up your books. So here's a massive tax bill you got to deal with. So you remember that you got to get this right? So it comes down to like how you design your website, all those other things that I'm not an expert in. Set up those things so when you're ready to bring in business and handle people. And I want to be in the space too, where I'm not worrying about technical things when I'm coaching, listening, holding the space for people. So that is a huge one. And also moving something that's kind of always evolving, but you'll want to use your family and the people around you to work through is for me, especially, I find I need to have a very strong purpose and vision with which this business exists. So if I'm not passionate, if it doesn't make sense to me, if it's something that I'm not willing to leave behind as a legacy, at least for me, it's very hard to do what it's going to take to get it where it needs to be. So, and a lot of questions that you have to ask are probably free, right? There's probably so much. I tell people I give away so much stuff before I charge anything, because there's just so many easy questions, low fruit to catch before you get into the deeper stuff. So I would say don't hesitate to ask anything, right? And the other thing I did as well is you don't want to make any emotional decisions. So even if it means you write down a process that you use for making critical business decisions. So you have to check through all these 12 steps before you go, okay, I'm a yes, I'm a no. I still have more questions, because I made some decisions myself as well that were more emotional than like methodically worked through. So again, leaning on your accountability partners, people in your network, people that have done more work than you have, decades ahead of the game, that sort of thing. There's a wealth of knowledge around us. So definitely take advantage of the opportunities and contribute where you can. I'm Brian DeCastro, domestic athlete, health and lifestyle coach, helping you align your health habits with your bigger life goals. Thank you.
Intense coffee shop show today, guys. I am so happy right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, I think this is a necessary topic.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
for
necessary
sure.
topic. I mean, there's people out there that don't understand what they have at their fingertips. I mean, they have access to spaces where there are people that they can talk to. They have access to spaces where there's information. If you're starting a business, or whether you've got a semi-established business, understand how to protect it. Understand which people you need to have around you to protect it and yourself. I think that's important.
Yeah, I mean, there could be more Nastines out there, which if you are, we love you. Just please come here before you make the same mistakes I did. Please. I almost bankrupted my business 4 times in the span of 2 years. Brian, I was one of those people. I was super successful in the beginning, and then I yeah, no. That's why Peter built this, because this is what it takes to protect what you built. So yeah, guys, this has been incredible. You guys are so amazing. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart right now for being here and for being friends and for coming with us into our fake little virtual coffee shop every single week and just sharing the space and sharing your insights and sharing your knowledge and helping entrepreneurs. It's so amazing, guys. Like, thank you so much. And I always leave here having learned a lot, having seen like pieces of your like character and personalities that I wouldn't have seen before, and like having just more ideas of what I'm supposed to be doing in business. So if that's happening for me, then my hope, and that's why we keep doing this, is that this will happen for every other entrepreneur out there around the world. And that's how you make an impact, right? That's how we're saving the global economy, one small business at a time. It's because of you guys.
Well, the topic that we discussed today is just one topic. There are so many areas in that entrepreneurs are either they have questions they want to know, or we just so happen to have the people that they come from different backgrounds and different spaces. They seem to have the answers. So why not take advantage of the space? If you have a question, just pop your question into the chat, and we will present it to the panel. And let's create a topic out of it and build answers together. So if you've got questions, drop them in the chat. Also,
if you still have something to say on this topic, don't be scared to go to the YouTube channel and hop into the comments and keep chatting away. And yeah, let us know your thoughts, your insights, your questions, and we'll all try to help you. I just remembered one thing. I have to share this before we go. When we first met Brian, he was like, I have one question. How did you do it? And we were like, any specific, Brian? Anything specific? It was yes, the whole it. How? That's how entrepreneurs feel, right?
Yeah. That is how they feel.
So that's what this show is for. Just tune in for 1 hour every single week, and you will get the answer to the whole it, the universe, and everything.
Did we miss anybody? Did anybody have their hand up that we missed?
Nope.
Yes, no. Oh, okay. We're on form today.
Okay, guys, so come back again next time. Thank you so much for being here. You are all the most amazing people in the world. Remember to go down into the description below. Click. Just connect. We did all the hard work for you. You're welcome.
these are the most amazing people.
They are so cool, right? And if you're on the call, feel free to hang out in the background if you like. If you don't like, then oh well. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you again, same time, same place next week. May all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true. Bye. Oh, there's the button.